So hello and welcome to another interview of the Shield Doing the Couch. Today I'm joined by Nick Lee, the guitar player for the band Moon 2. They're about to release a album, the third album on May 12th called Phototroph, right?
May 13th, Phototroph.
Phototroph May 13th. So,
hmm
and I know you're gonna go on tour soon. So, how's everything going on for you guys?
Good, man. I mean, we're really super stoked on just a real tour, 6-week tour after 2 years of we got a couple weekend things in and one in August and one in December, but with COVID and everything, it was really hard to do anything. So we're really excited for like a real tour and supporting, we're doing our headlining shows, which I'm very excited about, but supporting Dance Gavin Dance is pretty big. So we're definitely very excited. So this week is like crunch week, making sure everything's ready to go, merch, van, gear, everything's got to be tip top. So this starts the crazy week. And then once we get in the van on the way to the first show, life can get a little simpler again.
Yeah, I know the first show is April 17th on Pittsburgh, right?
Yep. Pittsburgh Preserving Underground is the name of the venue.
Yeah, I know. I saw that you guys are doing some off shows and some shows with Devin Gray. So you'll be on tour from April until the end of May. So yeah, it'll be
Mhm.
a nice run, and it will coincide with the album release. So I heard obviously "Carry Me Home," "The Conduit," and I can't say the name of the third song.
Nymphiaceae. Yeah,
And they're
that's okay.
all, yeah, they're all pretty cool. I think "Carry Me Home" has that like southern sound, and it's like a kind of like a power ballad, if you will. And "The Conduit" is really fun. I've been following the band since the first album back in 2016. I remember I
Cool.
saw it, and yeah, really cool band. uh so what can we expect? I know that we heard these three songs, but what can we expect from the rest of the song of the upcoming album?
It's been, we've been writing this record for years now. Some of the songs we had started working on during Crux, and some are a lot newer. I'd say most of them were written, during quarantine. But I'd say there's a a very there's a big attention put on melody and harmony and trying to create um, interesting, prog metal songs within um, a songwriting uh, approach to metal. More of I think there's some nods to classic rock and maybe some of our influences more head on. Like you mentioned, the southern rock kind of feel on some songs, like things that we've always played with. Lyrically, I think that this album is more positive overall. It's more optimistic. It definitely is. Uh, that's my cat. If you hear him howling, he's trying to go
That's
outside.
okay.
I'm so sorry for that. Um, it's more of a where John is very much a realist in his lyrical approach, but maybe more than a lot of people I know is kind of trying to with this record look towards look towards the light, look towards something positive, and um, where Crux was very much this crossroads, this conflicted record. This one is sort of like making the decision and trying to look, into the distance, like
Yeah.
trying to look towards something good for yourself. And I hope that it'll be like, I think it's a good feeling record. Like, I think, um, I hope that it'll give people some hope right now, just musically and lyrically. It's a little bit more uplifting, I think, than some of other stuff we've done. But
Yeah, no, I think that's really good, and it's hard to believe that Crux came out in 2019.
mhm.
It doesn't feel like it was long ago, and I really love that album a lot. So I was reading what the title of the album meant, and it's a phototrophic organism. And obviously, I was looking at the album cover. Like, does the name of the album have to do something with the themes that are in this record?
Yeah, totally. So I mean, like phototroph was just sort of a term that we kind of stumbled upon talking about album titles that really just kind of like in one word. That's kind of what we tried to do with Crocs and Chroma Paragon, even though we made that word up. We tried to kind of like take the whole. We're not like a concept record band
Mhm.
necessarily, but there is a feeling to each record, and Phototroph, just put simply, is it some anything that grows towards the light, and I think with human beings, you almost have to make that decision for yourself. You can choose to be pessimistic and jaded, or you can choose to, just try to put yourself out there to do something good with your life, and kind of, you know, you sacrifice to have the life that you really want. Um, and Yeah, Phototroph was just the way that we should crux, crossroads, the crux of a problem. Phototroph is now kind of answering that for yourself, and then being ready to, you know, sort of climb the mountain. And the album cover and the song Nymphaeace is sort of where that was born, and that, that's the scientific term for a water lily. And they have to grow from the bed of a river in the murk and the mud up to the surface of the water towards the sun, and then they begin their journey even more to grow from the surface of the water towards the sun. And so you see that reflected on the album cover.
Yeah.
And John kind of came up with that concept of the two hands, and one is kind of, gripping the roots in the mud and kind of struggling, and the other one is trying to reach up
Yeah,
out of
I'm
that.
glad that you're talking about the album cover because let's show it quickly here so people can see it. So yeah, no, I thought this album cover was it's a beautiful album cover. I pre-ordered this album so quickly, just
Thank you.
just with the cover alone. So who did the cover art for this?
Carolyn Harrison, who's based in Brooklyn. Uh, we sort of, I mean, I've known of her art from bands like Ken Mode and Yautja and stuff, and she does this sort of, I guess, I you know I don't want to like say it the wrong way, but hyper realistic
Mhm.
body horror at times. And a lot of the stuff that we'd seen of her was more scary. And when I love that stuff. And when John said that he was thinking about Caroline for the album cover, I was just super into it because I already loved her work. But I have also always really wanted like a painting, for an album cover. We hadn't really done that yet. It had been mostly digital art. I mean, our first EP was a drawing, but yeah, I mean, she just killed it with the concept. And uh, you know, I think John had sent her the most basic of sketches of this idea, and then we sort of came up with the idea of the bottom being more monochromatic, and then the top being very colorful and beautiful. And she just did a wonderful job. Obviously, it really kind of encapsulates what we do. There's a heaviness and a darkness to it at times, but ultimately is positive sounding. At least in our opinion.
No, yeah, that's something. Yeah, when I listen to your band, obviously the singer is very distinctive. Like when
Hmm.
it's Moontooth, but you have hard songs, but you also have lots of melodies. So yeah, I think this album artwork, when I see it, it's like like a battle between like the light and the darkness, like you were saying before. We showed the picture, but yeah, no, I think it's a great cover artwork. And
Thank
uh,
you.
I think it's the best one that you had, because I remember Crooks was more of a picture. So yeah, this painting, yeah, it looks great. And I always like to discuss like the painting and stuff that goes with the music, because that to me is as important. So and now you're one of those bands that you went and also did a beer, which is pretty interesting. So I'm gonna show a picture of the beer that's gonna go hand in hand with the album. So how did you came with this concept of doing like a beer for the album?
The So we had done one before with Barrier Brewing, um, and who were based on Long Island, where we're from originally. But it had never made it to cans. And I had approached our friend Mike, who was helping us with the previous beer, Mike D. He was, and he said, "Oh, I'm working with Thin Man Brewery up in Buffalo now, and I think this would possibly be better for you guys. That they did a beer for Mastodon and for Every Time I Die." And yeah, I mean, just to have it in cans is really exciting. And we're still working out specifics of the distro, but I believe that it'll get worked out and announced soon how more people can get it in their hands. Right now, you can get it at the Thin Man breweries, but we're putting the pieces together to figure out either how to get it at some of the shows, or just so that you can maybe pre-order the record with the beer. So As soon as
Did
that's
you,
like solid, we'll put put it on social media.
yeah, did you guys like went to the brewery and tasted different beers so that you can come with the taste of that beer?
We weren't able to do that this time, but because we worked with Mike last time, he knows what we
Mhm.
liked, and we discussed different types of beer. A couple of us are beer nerds for sure, so um, he just kind of just took what our ideas were, and I kind of was like, just listen to the record and look at the album cover and think about what you'd want to match to that. And so
Yeah.
um, I think it's going to be good. I think
No,
people will
it's
really
good,
like
and
it.
it's interesting because a lot of bands have done that now. I think even Deftones, bigger
Yeah.
bands, Iron Maiden, do the beer. It's
Hmm.
like a kind of promotion, and obviously a lot of people drink beer, so it's a great way to get your the name of the band out there. So yeah, it's interesting idea.
It
So
is fun, I mean,
yeah,
it's and a lot of I think it's fair to say a lot of Moontooth fans like beer, so and we like
yeah,
beer, so it's just something. It was just a really fun idea, It's we were really stoked that they wanted to run with it and actually do cans and the album cover and everything. So should see them out in the wild pretty soon.
yeah, no, yeah, it sounds very interesting. So the recording of this new album, how was that recording process like?
Well, everything that we've put out up until this record was recorded at our drummer Ray's studio, Westfall Recording Company, and he mixed and mastered everything up until this point. We did work with Machine and Mark Morton on Crux and Pre-Pro, but it just didn't pan out logistically to do the entire record with them, unfortunately. But Ray, did an amazing job with the mix and master of that. And this time around, because of our relationship with Mark Morton, Josh Wilbur had approached us about working with the band, and we hit it off right away. So we did some pre-production with him on a couple separate occasions, once in New York and once in California. But Ray owns a studio, and just to
Mhm.
like be cost effective in how we got everything tracked, we recorded everything except vocals with Ray at his studio. Guitar, bass, drums, and then John, our singer, went out to California to do vocals with Josh, and Josh mixed and mastered the record. So this is the first time um, we've gone this far with working with somebody else. Uh, to the point where they're actually mixing and mastering it, and we think Josh did an awesome job. But so it wasn't. The main differences were really just not having John do vocals one on one with Josh, which I think was a great idea, and just not being there for the mix. But for Ray, uh, he is always has to take a pretty heavy load when he has to like be a drummer, be a songwriter, be an engineer, be a mixer. He
Yeah,
has to
that's a
do
lot
all
of
that
hats for
stuff.
someone. Yeah,
Yeah, so I think it was just a fun um, experience, and experiment to kind of trust somebody else with it, and um, maybe we'll do that again. Maybe we won't, but I really think that it was an important kind of growth for the band. And um, sometimes people ask like, why would you want to work with a producer or this person or that person? And for me personally, I just want life experiences out of the band. I mean, I don't want to say no to something just out of fear or ego. I really
no,
like the experiment and the collaboration with people. And, for the last two album cycles, like we learned so much and just continue to learn more about um, our own strengths and, uh, just, our songs, and just kind of like know when something can be better or when something just no, that's how it's got to be. That's how it means something to us. And
yeah,
so yeah, not terribly different, but the mixing part of it is obviously the big change from past records.
yeah. I think going with a different producer, it's different set of ears, and maybe he can see the music differently from you guys. So yeah,
I
uh,
like when somebody says, "This is cool, but it can be better," and then I go, "Okay," and you
yeah,
give me a day, and let me see what I can, how
yeah.
I
At
can
least,
think
yeah,
about it differently, and I like how that keeps you on your toes and kind of pushes you. I think that we all like being pushed, because I think that um, the challenge, you have to rise to it, rather than kind of just doing what's comfortable every time. You kind of put yourself in a new scenario, and it makes you think differently and create differently.
Yeah, no, I've read so many stories of producers like pushing like every Ross Robinson throwing like things at Slipknot,
Hmm.
so they would get angrier. And in the 80s, I think Mutt Lang made Def Leppard album like they made him play a song like 100 times. So yeah, I'm guessing that yeah, that will push a band to the edge. So
He didn't throw anything at us, but yeah, I mean,
at least
same principle.
good, good. So what are your favorite songs out of this new album that's coming out soon?
I the first track, I Revere, is a favorite of mine. I think that it really it kind of nails on the head just musically where my mind's been and just how I've been looking at the guitar and how to make chord progressions and into interesting metal songs, you know. There's a song called "The Eye That Never Dies," which, you know, I don't know if it'll be a favorite, but it's definitely like, to me, it's Moontooth concentrate. It's like 3 minutes. It's got a lot of riffs. It's got some clean stuff and some heavy stuff and a guitar solo I'm really proud of and a really psychedelic bridge. And I just feel like we kind of like squeezed what we do into this like interesting song. And I just remember writing it and just feeling really, um, just happy about it. And as far, the title track to me, um, is a really, uh, was kind of a bolder move in the sense that
Mhm.
it's, very catchy and major key. And I even got some like country Travis picking style guitar in there. And, I think that we just, with every record and song, we just try to kind of widen the lens of what we're able to do. Um, as far as the singles, I feel like "Carry Me Home" uh, as soon as I wrote the riff, I was like, this can be catchy as hell, and John just did a great job with the melodies, and I feel like it just, as far as catchy Moontooth, I feel like that's sort
Yeah,
of,
yeah,
if
that
that
song
one
has
doesn't work,
a
we don't
chorus
know what
that's
to tell
very
you.
sing along to. Yeah,
Right, hopefully.
yeah, but at least that's what I heard. I was listening to it again this morning, and yes, it's very sing along like. And
Hmm.
yeah, I thought yeah that it's a great choice for a single. So obviously you're going on tour soon. Are there still people? Can they still pre-order the album for those people that want to get it on vinyl? I know there's some great variants. I don't know which one I got, but there were some cool ones. I think that they had the colors of
Yeah.
the album cover on it.
Yeah, there one of those variants is sold out now, but there's a couple more available at moontooth.org, and we will have, a different variant on the road. So we'll be announcing that. But yeah, you could still pre-order the record up until May 13th. Um, and the week before, on the road, we'll be allowed to have them on the merch table. So come out to a show and get one, but definitely, if that's not possible, we really appreciate people pre-ordering it in advance. And we're giving away a guitar that I used on an album,
Oh yeah,
from
I saw that.
Paragon.
Yeah, I
So
think on the first one, right?
yeah, if you live in the U.S., you'll automatically be entered to win a raffle. It's a used, beat up Moontooth guitar, but it's a cool guitar. And I didn't know, I didn't necessarily, I'm with Vigier guitars for years now, and I don't necessarily need to gig with that guitar anymore. And I also, I don't know, I just didn't feel like selling it. But I just feel like, I'd rather it end up in the hands of a real fan. I think that's
Yeah,
cool.
instead of like
Uh,
on a Hard Rock Cafe or something.
Yeah, I mean, we'll all sign it and stuff. I think it'll just,
Yeah,
I'd rather know it went to somebody who really cares,
nice.
rather than make a couple $100s off it selling it on
No, I
Craigslist or
agree
something.
that I think
Like
that's
it was a fun idea.
it's a fun idea and a cool idea for fans. So, you as a guitar player, like what are your major influences, or do they change, or do you have like a set of influences that you always look up to when you're when you do the guitar?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot, and they certainly like grow and change. But as a kid, my initial influences were like, um, I mean, Hetfield was probably my first like kind of like idol as far as music and songwriting and even guitar, the right hand, of course, and the riff writing. Um, Jimi Hendrix, my uncle had got me Are You Experienced as a kid, and that definitely changed my life a bit. I mean, Dimebag Darrell was another really big one. Uh, and then, as I've like Randy Rhoads is another really big one. I mean, Tony Iommi. I mean,
Yeah.
I was really into like all the '80s thrash metal stuff. So Slayer and like Scott Ian. As far as like um, right hand riff writing, because that was kind of more of my passion in the beginning. Um, but I've gotten into things like Chet Atkins and Leo Kottke and John Fahey, things that were more acoustic based, and um, really grew an appreciation for bluegrass and country music. And not that I necessarily can play that stuff, but I'm trying, and it's starting to leak into Moontooth music. I have to give credit to Brent Hines from Mastodon, because Mastodon was hugely influential. When like Leviathan came out, I was obsessed with it. I was in high school and I just listened to it constantly. And the that kind of, it made no sense to have like bluegrass moments in there, but it just worked and it sounded so cool. And just their kind of approach to what they do and the fearless kind of freedom to it, especially on that record, it just um, it kind of opened that door. I mean, I already loved Southern rock and blues, but that was like, oh shit, I can do both,
Yeah.
And I mean, I was obsessed with BB King, just the way he can shake a note and play things that are simple that are just super effective and memorable. I mean, um, yeah, I mean, I really at this point, I really want to try to pull from everybody. I've been lately. I've really liked Josh Smith, who's like a jazz blues player. Um, yeah, I don't know. And then growing up, I was taking lessons from Mike Flint's from Riot. I also play in Riot, and you know, I wouldn't be remotely the guitar player that I am if it wasn't for him. So Mike Flint's has got to be probably number one. When you think about it. But yeah, I mean, I feel pretty comfortable. I mean, like I love Buzz from the Melvins and Dwayne Dennison from Jesus Lizard too. I
Yeah,
like.
no, it sounds like you like a lot of different players, and that it has influenced your guitar playing. So I know that you're really busy because you're gotta gear up for tour soon, and the album and the beer and everything. So one last question:
Sure.
now that you had all these years and you have this album, what's next for Moontooth after the tour? Are you going back to? Do you have enough material for a new album, or are you planning on doing more tours, maybe some festivals?
Well, we'll definitely be doing more touring. I mean, um, I can't say what right now, but new album means we got to hit the road, and
Yeah.
we're ready to do it, especially after the last couple of years. But yeah, I mean, we already have enough material for probably two more albums, but uh, there are a few that are pretty far along, and we wanted to kind of get to this sooner, but just getting ready for tour and practicing and getting logistical things figured out between every gear and travel and merch and stuff. Like we hadn't gotten a chance to do it, but it's pretty much like for us, we like to work. So if we come
Yeah.
back, if we come back and we can't tour, we'll be just working on new music. And hopefully, you know, part of the reason that there's 3 years in between these two records is pandemic, but it's also final turnaround time, and then wanting it to have a good tour to be on when it comes out. So it took a bit to just make it all click together, But I think we're going to try our best and have less time in between this one and the next one. I know we all really want to. Um, so it really just comes down to like what the touring schedule is. I mean, we really want to make it overseas on this cycle, and I think that that's a possibility. We have a new agency that we're really stoked on, and yeah, I think that you'll definitely get opportunities to see us live on this record cycle. We weren't the most unlucky with the Crux cycle. I guess we got like a year and a half or so until before the pandemic happened, and we had to shut it down. And then we did the acoustic thing to buy time, but we were working on the record the whole time. It was just a little slow moving, but I think that I don't know, the stuff that we have right now is super heavy, so it might be a very different record. We'll see what happens, but if we're not busy with the tour, we're busy working on new music. So
Sounds good. Sounds good. So, Nick, I want to thank you again for taking some time to chat with me a little bit. I hope the tour goes great and everything with the new album. So, again, thank you. And until next time, this is Hector the Shield on the couch, and I'll see you right here on the couch. Thank you and have a great day.